Greetings and welcome, my friends. We are the vortex of teeth and pain. This is Reno 8U. No, wait, it's Rena 2. Too much what, bro? Too fat? Too ugly? We're kicking things off with a 3-lander that's got a good mix of cards. I'd prefer to have an early removal instead of the cover-up, but this will be fine. Keep your pants on. They drop a mountain, but they've got nothing to bring out. We'll drop a swamp and make them toss a card as well as take a 2-point hit. That's a Witch Stalker Frenzy. No wonder it smells like fart up in here. They are on mono red. They play out a show-off and they might be showing off, but I'm not impressed. This time around the damages will only be 1. We'll play out a Springs. It's unfortunate our blue manas have to enter tapped or things would be different around here. They play a Spear Guy, then follow up with a Burn spell. Mono red does what mono red does best. And if only that cover-up had been a removal. Or even the Monument. No use scrying over spilled mana. We draw a Momentum Breaker, which would have been nice getting it last turn. But that's alright. We'll play out our Fear, which we can use to block up, and we can snipe a card right out of their hand. The less ammo they have, the better. They burn their last card to take out our Fear. That leaves only their 2 men as the threats, and we can take 1 out on our turn. We draw a Springs, which will play out after we drop the breaker down. We'll be able to get to speed 2 right away. Zoom zoom. They get a hero, and in true mono-red fashion are not holding it back. We draw a swamp, and this is a cover-up turn. Let's stuff these evil things back in their pants. Shouldn't have been whipping them out like that, bro. They get another hero, and it looks like we've survived the initial onslaught, and now they have only top decks to bail them out. Let's play out another Springs, and we can zoom to speed 3. We'll follow up with the Syphon, but leave the mana up in case we need to sacrifice the breaker for 3 life. They get a Rage, so we will have to sacrifice the breaker. We'll gain 3 life and go up to 7 before we take the hit from their hero. We draw some bounce, which will save our bacon. Plus we'll be able to get to max speed as well, and we love to zoom. Let's bounce their hero and our Nightmare. Then we'll play out the Nightmare and make them toss their hero. He's a 0 now, not a hero anymore. They get a Hasty Guy, Crazy Town. We'll go to 1 life, and there is no more margin for error. Let's see what we draw. An Hour of Victory is fine. We can use it to get a breaker, and we'll have a blocker on the ground as well. That should buy us another turn. Yeah, we'll get a breaker. We won't have mana to sacrifice it, so they can get us if they draw a burn spell. It's their Mighty Mouse. They even get the Offspring as well. We can gain 4 life after we untap, so we're not done yet. Hold on to those trousers, boys. We'll hit them with Mill at the end of their turn. That's 2 more cards they won't be able to use against us. We draw a Nowhere to Run. Another removal is perfect in this situation. We can block one and snipe the other. Without any cards in hand, we can just whip this out when we want. Let's snipe their 1/2, and we'll block the token. Before normal damage, we can mill away another 2 of their cards. At the end of their turn, we'll gain 4 life, just to be on the safe side. We draw another Monument, and that might be what does it. Mono red about to be milled out, you ask. Bear witness. That's GG's. Extra cheese. This is Nick. That was easy. Why can't they all be this easy? We get a 3-lander with double fear, a scrutiny, and an hour of victory. The double fear is a problem since we have nothing to bounce early. Mull. Then we get a 3-lander with double removal, a nightmare, and a fear. This is much better. Keep. We'll send the Nowhere to Run on down. Having double removals early is nice, but if they're creature heavy we can bounce the breaker. They had to go down to 6 as well, so we're pretty even. They play out a Recruit, so hopefully they're not on our Frogger-style deck, or something similar to the mechanic. Let's hit them with the Nightmare. They can drop one of their 4 cards. Get rid of something big and heavy, bro. We'll hit them with the breaker, and we can make some rabbit soup. And we get to zoom. They fire off an opt. Their options are rather slim. There is no saving that rabbit from the soup pot. Can you smell the soup in the pot? We draw a Syphon, so we'll be able to set ourselves up to siphon their soul. But for now we'll bounce our breaker. The springs will get us to speed too. Also, zoom. They play out another Recruit, this time with the offspring cost, so they get a token buddy as well. I mean, our soup does need more meat. Now we'll have enough for a real stew. We'll play out the springs and follow up with the breaker again. Zoom. They play out an Innkeeper's Talent, which will grow their men, but for now they're still too small to be swinging in with our fear up to block. The time has come for our Syphon to start doing damage. This little shark will take the biggest bites. Out of their deck. 4 max speed will have to send in the fear for damages. That will mean a crack back, but we're fine with that. Zoom. They hit our fear with a removal. Luckily it's already done its job. This turn we'll feel some pain. But we also get to unleash the power of the Syphon on their skinny booty. We draw a cover up. It's time to finish up our stew. Fire in the hole. It doesn't smell around here anymore. They play out another talent, so it looks like they used up all the men they had to start. It's a top deck war, but we're drawing extra cards. Advantage us. We draw a breaker, and we'll be able to unload our hand. Let's draw with the Syphon, then we'll play out the Monument and the breaker. It'll chop their hand in half, and we'll still have the mana to activate the Monument. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. They get the free Baloth so many players dream of. There's nothing we can do about their big ugly, so we'll have to take the hit this time. We draw a second Syphon, and we're going to zoom through their deck at a record pace. But first, let's deal with the big ugly. If they play it again, it'll be toast. No jam. They choose not to go for it. That's fine, bro. We're not going to make you toss a card again, so if they're waiting for us to use the breaker, they're going to die of old age. This turn we'll play out the second Syphon. With no threats on board, we can go for double draws and send a bunch of cards to their grave. That's what I like to see. We're making it rain up in here. Note that they have 18 cards left. That's real skimp. All we need is to exhaust our Monument once we untap. Once again, they choose to level up their talent instead of playing out the guy we know they're holding. Okay then, mill you for 2. And now we'll go for the rest of their deck. Another pile in the trash. Who's next? Also GG's. Pile the cheddar high, please. This is Darren A. Torwan. What did you tear, bro? Did it hurt? We get a 3-lander with double removal, a Syphon, and an Hour of Victory. This looks good to me. Keep your pants on. They play out a Fountain Port, so tokens then? If only we could play out the breaker now and make them toss a card, so we'd have a better idea of what they're up to. They fire off a stock up, so some kind of control deck then? For reals, bro. We haven't played anything out. How would they know what to grab? We draw a Monument and we'll play it out. It doesn't make it rain up in here until later, but we can start the process. Fabled Passage is great. That's one less card we need to mill away. Thanks, bro. I didn't think you cared. Whoa, wait. They're on the mill plan as well?
Phyrexia's plans are already in motion. We can improve upon your ideas.
Drawing a third hour of victory was not on the menu. But that's okay. We've got a siphon to land and get our first zoom. Jace drops loyalty. Keep those pants on, bro. This is a family show. They fire off another stock up, and everything they're doing is helping us out, even if it's to a small degree. They play out a monument of their own while we're checking out our grave. There's nothing critical, so we're all right, although we could use more lands. We'll activate the siphon, and that gets us a spring. Time to zoom on up to 2. Then we'll mill them a pair of cards.
Our plans are beyond your comprehension.
They plus their Jace, then mill away a pair of cards. They had us early on, so we need to work to catch up. Let's draw, then we can play out the second siphon. It means having to skip the activation on the monument, but once the siphon takes a bite, it's very hard to stop. They make some sushi, but those damages are going to be kind of slow, especially with all the removals we've got. They don't bother sending in the sushi for a hit. They'd rather draw a card. That's rather greedy. They burn out their Jace for one last 3-card mill. Should have kept your pants on, bro. We draw a second monument, but what we need is more lands. We're barely able to activate what we have on board. Let's draw up first, and we get another springs that'll take us up to max speed. The siphons are fully on. Also zoom. The opponent decides they have to burn the cash they have in hand and blow up their field to take out our speedway. It only loots, something we don't need to do since what we want in play we already have. They play out another fabled passage. This opponent loves doing us favors. They have no plays to make, but we've got some card to mill away. Let's draw up first, then we'll hit them with the monument. That was another Jace we just trashed. What's the grave smell like, bro? A third siphon would be hilarious. But checking out the numbers, it looks like they're cooked. We got them unless they can restock their deck at instant speed. All those stock-ups were useless apparently. They're going to lose with full hand of cards. We did to them what they wanted to do to us. GG's extra cheese. This is Flubber. He doesn't have abs, he has flabs. And a pile of cooked bacon. We get the dreaded shuffler special with card draw, a removal, a tutor, and siphon. It's a risk, but we do have 3 draw steps to find a third land. Keep. They get a first turn authority. Luckily for us, we don't rely on a ton of men to get in for damages. We draw another removal, which is fine, but we will need to get a third land at some point. There's the perfect third land. We'll be able to play out the siphon on our next turn. They play out an angel and have shown us who they are. We'll snipe their chicken at the end of the turn. Time for the siphon, and we can zoom. This is the beginning of the end. For them. They drop an exemplar of light. It's one of those angels that gets bigger when they gain life, and it can draw them cards. It's the perfect thing to snipe with our remaining removal. With only 1 black, we do have to decide between the nightmare or the removal, and I think we have to clear their flying turkey. We'll still have the mana to activate the siphon and get another card at the end of their turn. They drop the Resplendent One, the angel that can beef itself up. It could be dangerous at some point, but they don't have the mana to make it bigger. We draw a monument and a springs. We'll be able to get to speed too easy with the land, so we'll save the nightmare for later. We'll play out the monument. We won't be able to activate it, but we will on future turns. These flying turkeys are multiplying at a rate beyond our control. Luckily, we do have a sweeper to clear out multiples in one shot. Let's hit them with the nightmare this turn and get to speed 3. Say it with me, zoom. We'll follow up with the fear and bounce back a removal. Our fear will enter tapped, but we know angel players don't believe in blocking, so we should be able to get to speed 4 when we swing in on our next turn. They hit our fear with a removal, so that plan is toast. We can take out the fatter turkey of the 2 and limit the amount of damages they can throw at us. They play out the best removal of all time. Just kidding, it's not anywhere near that good. But they take the monument. Oopsie poopsie bro. What they should have done was played a perilous snare. And taken the siphon. We draw another springs, which is what will get us across the finish line. No more need to go racing. This has been won. We know angel players aren't satisfied with having only 1 turkey in play. They'll play out more if they have them. So let's hold on to our sweeper instead of using it as 1-for-1 removal. As we suspected, they play out a second turkey, and we are about to have a Thanksgiving feast up in here. We draw a second scrutiny, which will be amazing when we get the chance to fire one off for a bunch of cards. Now we'll sacrifice our nightmare for the scry. On top we have another sweeper, which we'll keep, and another tutor. We'll send the hour of victory on down. It's time to hit them with the cover-up and get our monument back. Fire up the turkey fryer. They came prepared and fire off a Boris charm to save their birds. Luckily, we have a second sweeper in hand, and they don't have lethality yet. That's what we wanted to see. They tap out for another oversized vulture. That's going to be 3 birds in 1 pot. Open the bomb bay doors. These bombs don't drop themselves. Open wide, bro. We're stuffing these turkeys with a special recipe called Get Out of Town, Charlie Brown. We'll take out the exemplar. It's the one thing that can grow bigger rather easily and give them extra draws. With the board clear, our 1-for-1 removals are perfectly able to keep their vultures under control. It hardly matters much what they play out anymore. We've got plenty of options. Let's fire off a scrutiny this time around. 3 fresh ones plus 6 directly into the bin. Look at all those cards being flushed away. Gotta make it rain up in here. We'll end the game with a clear board. No turkeys for me, none for you. Then we'll hit them with the monument. All right, your go, my bro. Also GG's. Extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.